an hour before the fire was going exceptionally well. I was building a lot of houses. My wife was selling a ton of houses, and we were about to have our first child, Blakely, my daughter, who's now 18 years old. But in an instant, our house got struck by lightning and burned to the ground, and we lost everything that we owned.
Lucie, the name means light. The majority of our team has worked in newsrooms throughout the country. We've seen the negatives. At Lucie, we explore the positives. And through this video series, we spotlight them. People, places, businesses, nonprofits, you name it. Storytelling is at the heart of our company, and we know sharing a story makes connections. It's simple, informative, and empowering. So without further ado, let's go. Hey everybody, and welcome to another series of our Lucie Spotlight series. Thanks again for joining us. This particular episode, it's going to be amazing. Someone who I've known a few years, someone who has actually shown me homes over the years. We have Bonneau Ansley in the house. Let's start out in your early days. You and I were just talking before the cameras were rolling. You're a natural salesman. Tell me how you kind of migrated into selling homes early on.
Well, I started selling everything that I owned as a elementary school student. I'd sell my Matchbox cars at the end of the driveway. I'd have lemonade stands. I mean, anything I could sell, I sold. In high school, I started making t-shirts and hats, and I would sell those to all the other students, and I really enjoyed it. I had a tough time in school, Craig, so I tried to find something that I was good at and that was natural for me, and that was selling. It was selling anything.
I remember when you were showing me a house, I think it was back in 2011, you were with Harry Norman at the time.
Right.
And then what was kind of your turning point where you said, you know what, I'm going to start my own thing?
Well, I'll take you back a little bit because I wasn't going to be an accountant. I wasn't going to be a nuclear scientist or a lawyer or anything like that. So I had to marry my passion and my natural skill set as a salesman and put them together. And luckily, I did that at an early age and was able to sell something that had some value. I've been everything. I've been a developer, I've been a land broker, I've been a real estate investor. And after a series of events that happened in my life, I ended up becoming just a real estate agent. And that happened in 2009, right in the middle of the biggest real estate recession America's ever had. That's when I dove in with 2 feet. And when I wanted to be a real estate agent, I wanted to do things differently than what everybody else was doing. And I really decided to brand myself, like in everything that I did. I went so far as I almost put a tattoo on my forehead that said, I sell real estate. I didn't take it that far, but everything I did, real estate was involved in meeting people and networking. And I became a really good agent really quickly. And after several years at my old firm, I said, geez, I want to create a platform where other agents can do it differently, do it like me. So I created Ansley Atlanta Real Estate. And at that time, we started to grow really, really fast. And we've been doing that for about 9 years. And through another series of events, we've dropped Atlanta out of it because now we're bigger than just being in Atlanta, and we're Ansley Real Estate Christie's International. So it's been really, really fun just being just an individual agent now to being a business person with a nice sized company in Georgia and now with offices and affiliations all across the globe.
Explain how that really gives you all this competitive advantage.
Well, it's really great to know the trends that are going on. You know, usually they start in California and they migrate our way, but being able to see the sales numbers and how people are doing things differently all across the globe gives us a real competitive advantage for our 400 plus agents at Ansley Real Estate.
I remember just recently listening to a podcast with you, and at Harry Norman you met someone named Julie Harris. She was the head of marketing. You immediately went to her and you said, look, I want to do things differently. In your business, how important is it to be marketing constantly?
You know, Craig, it's everything. And I share with everybody I come in contact with that I'm dyslexic, so I do things differently. Not on purpose always, but just I see the world a little different, a little backwards. So I've never really followed anybody else as a real estate agent, and I've kind of done things on my own and tried different things. Some work, some don't. But when I met Julie back in 2009, I said, look, I want to be the top agent in Atlanta. and I want to do things this way. And she said, well, nobody's ever done it that way. But she gave me the confidence to say, I'll help you. And she believed in me early on, and she was my first hire at Ansley Real Estate back in 2016. And she's still with me now with an incredible career where she does all of our marketing at Ansley and also does a lot of marketing for Christie's International Real Estate.
First hire, now you've got 400 plus agents. You've got, I think, 30 to 40 full-time employees that are kind of running Ansley.
Right.
Now, how important and what are your kind of keys to success when it comes to building the right team for your business?
Craig, I always say I'm smart enough to know how dumb I am. And what that means is I only do things that I'm really, really good at on a corporate level. And I backfill the rest with really, really capable people. So the 30 or 40 full-time employees we have that service the 400 agents, they're exceptional at what they do day in and day out. And I only focus on 10% or so of the business, but I'm really, really good at that 10%. That carries on with everything I do in life, except family stuff, because you got to do everything family-wise, as you know, being the great dad you are. But I focus on the things that I can really, really do well to move the needle in the team. And everything else, I've got a great partner who's been with me for 12 or 13 years named Hill Harper, who takes a lot of the load that I don't do really well. And I've got Leslie Martin and Emily Niles also on my team that do paperwork and organizational and marketing and things like that. And we operate really, really efficiently and effectively as a team. And we do the same on the company level. You've,
like anybody building a business, you've had your highs and lows. And I think that a lot of people have this misconception of like, wow, Bonneau's just crushing it. He built this huge entity overnight. It's not like that. So let's talk about the highs and lows, beginning with the lows to the point where you're in Savannah, you're coming back from dinner with your family, and explain to our viewers what happened.
Craig, as you know, I recently wrote a book called Brokering Billions. And in there, I share the good, bad, ugly, and everything in between of my career. And you really gotta embrace when you're in the bottom of the curves. You're right, I had a horrific house fire in 2004 when everything an hour before the fire was going exceptionally well. I was building a lot of houses, my wife was selling a ton of houses, and we were about to have our first child, Blakely, my daughter, who's now 18 years old. But in an instant, our house got struck by lightning and burned to the ground, and we lost everything that we owned. So before dinner, we're riding high. An hour later, we're at the bottom, you know, with only the clothes on our back. And we had to make some decisions. And what I want people to understand is that it's not just a steady climb to wherever you want to get. There's ups and downs, but it's the bottom where you find your strength. It's the bottom to figure out, you know, what motivates you and where you're gonna go. And I'm so glad that I've had those struggles and those obstacles, because it's how you react. It's how you react to those obstacles that make you who you are.
I've heard you say a lot, you might not even know it, but you say, that's okay. Like literally, my house burned down, that's okay. You know, we had a bad year, that's okay. Take us through kind of that mindset.
You know, I am a religious person, and I think there's always a bigger plan for you. It's taken some patience and some will, but I think that there's a plan, and when things happen for you, they happen for a reason. You know, people ask me, you know, why did you write a book? And it goes back to early last year. I was at one of my favorite restaurants here in Atlanta, Bones. And I was sitting with a bunch of friends and my daughter and my wife and enjoying this incredible filet mignon. And on about my third bite, I choked on a piece of steak. And I get up and I do the universal signal of, hey, I'm in trouble here. And luckily there was somebody there that started to do the Heimlich maneuver. It didn't work. The steak was really lodged well into my air hole. And I ended up losing consciousness, went down on the ground, and they say I didn't have much time left. There was a nurse also eating that night, thank the Lord. And the way my wife tells it is the nurse came over and got me back up, and they were doing the Heimlich too high. And once they got down to where they're supposed to do it, they did it again. And the piece of steak got unlodged. And I woke up and I could breathe, and I said, I'm gonna write a book. But it didn't exactly happen like that, but I woke up and started reflecting, like, hey, life's short. I wanted to let people know that you can really activate your limitations, and you can activate your limitations and turn them into your superpowers. There's so many parents out there where their kids get diagnosed with being dyslexic or whatever, or hyperactive or whatever the case may be. Those kids are gonna be just fine. Luckily, I had the parents that learned that, hey, I'm gonna be okay, and I was able to exercise my my energy in different ways and never had to feel like I was stupid or I shouldn't be in this class or this school. I was able to find success in other ways, and I think that's a really important thing in today's society.
So what is next for Ansley? Where are you guys heading? What's the 5-10-year plan?
Yeah, that's a great question, Craig. We want to be everywhere and everything to the people of Atlanta and now the people of Georgia. So with our Christie's network, if you wanted to go buy a house in Sun Valley or Jackson Hole or Jacksonville, Florida, we've got offices everywhere now, and we can help support you and find the right agent for you wherever you want to go.
Let's talk about the roller coaster that is residential real estate. You know, we have COVID hit March 2020, things just come to a halt. I've heard you talk about the COVID migration. Now we have high interest rates. Talk about this roller coaster of real estate and kind of what your thoughts on and where we're also going from here.
Craig, in residential real estate, you got to play the long game because there's cycles. They go up and down, and you're right. In March 2020, I didn't know what we were going to do at our company. And as you said, the phone just started ringing, and it didn't stop till last fall in 2022. That's when interest rates had the historic rise where they've risen faster maybe than any time in the United States history. I don't know that for a fact, but it sure does feel like that.
Sure.
And where we're sitting today, we've got really, really low inventory because people don't want to move because they're sitting in a sub 3% interest rate. What I see is believe me, I'm not an economist, but what I do see that if and when interest rates come down, I think we're going to have another COVID-like buying spree. I think that we've got a lot of pent-up demand because people haven't been buying as much as they typically have the last 12 months. And I think when interest rates get to 5 or sub 5, I think that people are going to jump back into the market. We'll start to have the numbers that we did, in 2021, which was, of course, as you know, was our record year.
What are you seeing in the Atlanta market and Georgia as a whole?
Well, I think we're really fortunate to be in Atlanta, Georgia. I think that what COVID has done for us is people can work anywhere now. And I think that what we're seeing is people are moving down to the Sun Belt, right? Texas, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina. I don't think that's going to change. I think that this has really changed the way people think about family and about work. And I think that working in great weather environments like what we have here with a great hub, with an airport and a vibrant community, I think that Atlanta is going to be strong for a long time.
How are you all attracting the top talent?
Talent breeds talent, right? Just like my friend Kirby Smart at the University of Georgia, he's creating a winning atmosphere. So other people want to join in that, right? Other people want to be around other people that are winning. And that's what we've done at Ansley. We've got such a great stable of agents that agents from other companies want to be a part of that. We've got proprietary technology called Platform, where agents can do their CRM, which is their client relationship management, their deal management, their marketing, and everything in between on our platform that just agents at Ansley and Christie's can use.
Well, speaking of being friends with Kirby Smart, I'm sure you've been able to learn a lot from him. What else have you learned from him, and maybe what has he learned from you in y'all's friendship?
I haven't learned a lot from his golf game, I'll tell you that. He hadn't learned anything from me, but it has been fun just watching my roommate in college have such a successful career, and it all starts from the top, right? Everything that you do from the top is a reflection on your organization.
In business, you got to know what the competition is up to. How do you what do you view competition as? Are there companies out there like the Compass? I've been seeing a lot of Engel and Volkers out there. Or are you just kind of focusing right on Ansley? Okay, let them do their game. I got my own game going on.
We're focused on Ansley. I think that in life, if you focus on what everybody else is doing, you're going to be playing catch up for a long time.
For
everybody that's watching, maybe they're a real estate agent and they want to become a broker, start their own brokerage, or maybe they're just want to get into a whole different industry. What kind of advice can you give those out there who want to grow within their job or just start their own business?
First of all, make sure you're in the right job for you. Make sure that you wake up in the morning and want to do what you're doing, right? For me, it was never really a job to go out and sell. I love houses. I love great architecture. And I really love helping families find a house and seeing that joy when they actually find the house that they've always wanted. It's so rewarding. So I would say to, entrepreneurs, building a business is great, but you can't have blinders on, right? So one thing that's been really fun for me is when I go meet a new family, they really become friends. They become part of my inner circle a lot of times. And I ended up investing in their companies and things like that. So I have so much more of a broader understanding of what other people do and how you make money. And it's been a ton of fun just getting that education from my clients.
I like to share some business quotes with my team. Doesn't necessarily have to be about business, but what are some of your favorite quotes, or what is your favorite quote?
I think my favorite quote comes from a client and friend named Jesse Itzler. And he says, how you do anything is how you do everything. And if you think about that for a minute, how you do anything is how you do everything. How you greet people, how your voicemail sounds, right? How you tuck your kid into bed, how you pick up a client, how you treat the waiter at a restaurant, right? How you do anything is how you do everything is a great way to live. And I try to think about that when I'm mad or when I want to take a shortcut and not clean up, the backyard or put the hose away, or make my bed, right? Because it goes back to how you do anything is how you do everything.
I love that one. That is a good one. If I'm out there looking for a home right now, what kind of advice can you give someone in that home buying process?
Have your finances ready. Hire a good, trusted advisor to be able to understand the shadow market that's not on the current MLS system, not on Zillow, and really understand exactly what you're trying to buy. And when it's time to go ahead and make an offer, have all your ducks in a row so you can really submit a great competitive offer.
What is your take on Zillow, Redfin? I see realtor ads on Instagram all the time. How has that changed your business?
Well, technology is great for our business. Just like I mentioned, Platform, which is our technology tool to help our agents become more efficient, right? But there's technology out there, and there's technology companies that sell real estate, and they sell a lot of real estate. But at the end of the day, you need that white glove treatment to make sure that you're buying the right home that's not going to fall over too. And having the great inspectors and everything that comes in from not paying too much for a house and everything in between, it's just really, really good. And I don't think that you can buy a house through artificial intelligence quite yet. And I think that having a real life agent is essential in making a good purchase.
All right, buddy. Bonneau Ansley.
This was a ton of fun, Craig. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And congratulations on all your success with this new studio. It's off the charts cool.
Our mission is simple: create your news. When we create it, we hope to spotlight your purpose. Life's too short to be stuck in a world that becomes stale. What is your purpose? Are you living it? If you're not, the time is now. Thanks for listening and watching. Carpe diem.